But this week we're doing a Sidequest episode of some news and updates and things that are happening in the Xbox world. I am your hardcore gamer host Andrew. With me are moderate gamer Keith.
Hello.
And we are two men in this episode. I'm really glad we got rid of the title Boy Talk. I was not a fan of those titles, Keith.
You really shouldn't have said that because now you just know I'm going to bring it back, and I will get the support I need for it.
But we've had a very busy week this week. Aaron's actually out on business. Not this podcast. He's just out on business. But I've also been pretty sick. I've been, not doing great, but much better today. So I was like, all right, we can record something. But I was even saying in my Discord.
Dogs now.
What do you say?
You're back on the dogs now.
Oh no! Oh my gosh! I don't want to get into details. Yeah, I my hot dog kick. I had to take a break from being sick here. It wasn't because of the hot dogs, okay? I know what you're thinking. It wasn't because of the hot dogs. But yeah, it's funny. I was saying in my Discord room, like, man, I don't get when people say they're too sick to play video games. You just have to sit there and play video games. No, I was honestly too sick to play video games. I was just trying to lay there and not die. But so been playing little things here and there. So me and Keith, we wanted to talk about. There's a lot of things happening in the Xbox world with the new CEO. There's also some other gaming stuff going on about possibly the Wall Street trying to raise the price of video games. And then I know as Wall Street people do. But before we start getting into the news, Keith, let's give people a little bit of update. We dabble in a lot of the games here on Game Pass. And we don't obviously have time to cover them all. So, what have you been playing, Keith?
I think it's obvious just about every roguelike that's come out. So,
did you see there's another one coming out this month?
I did. So, been out for a few weeks, but I honestly think we should probably get an episode out of this. I still think it should go on the docket. But Absalom, if I'm saying that right, has been an Absalom amount of fun. That's terrible. I don't know. I really tried.
But I actually appreciate jokes like that. I'm not like you and Aaron, who's just gonna shun you.
But it's like a side scroller beat 'em up, but it's got all of the perfect roguelike elements. It's got co-op, so you can play with a friend. You can actually play with a stranger.
Towerborn? Because Towerborn
was Towerborn a roguelike?
It's not roguelike, but it's a beat 'em up. But you do progress and build a character up, which I guess I think is a roguelike.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that it's not like you run. I don't know. I guess it feels more like a Dead Cells in a sense in terms of the overall like random nature of the maps themselves. Like you go through the same areas every single time. It's just that you might not face the exact same enemies every single time. Maybe you get a different mini boss, something like that. But there's like 4 different characters. You level up their skills, but then there's card systems. There's all these different little systems that you're leveling up, and yeah, it's actually just a good chunk of fun. And like once you get everything maxed out, you can start to just use the currency to like turn on and off certain weapons for your next run. So you can pretty much take out the RNG of it once you've beaten it more or less. So that's been a lot of fun. This new one that just came out, we were talking about this Terra Tech Legion. That's actually it's sneaky kind of fun. I don't know, I haven't gotten far enough into it, but I love the idea of this, like you just get to build this weird nonsense vehicle, and then it's just a little bullet time. Is it limited to a certain degree? Because I keep dying. That's
a little bit. All right. So first of all, I also want to say, anytime there's like you create a vehicle, there's a specific font for that game. Have you noticed that? Mm-hmm. Like when we did Trailmakers, yeah. And then when we played, we always forget the name of it, and I still don't remember it, but there was that pixel game where we ended up playing giant Pokemon. They always have this font, and every time I see it, I'm like, is this the same people? Like, I don't get why vehicle crafting games always use the same font. But anyway, Terra Tech Legions, you are picking a hero. There's, I think, 5. And so you have a starter vehicle. Because that's the other thing that turned me off. Where I'm like, I hate building vehicles. Like, where do I put my wheels? Where do I put the engine? I got to make sure the weight's good. No, so you already have a pre-built vehicle depending on what character you're picking, and then when you're leveling up, you open crates. Oh, do you want this gun or do you want this block? And you literally are hodgepodging putting these things on your vehicle. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. Like I don't want to be spending 45 minutes designing a vehicle, but if I'm just slapping a gun on the side of my vehicle and I can't put it there because now I have a block there that's would block the gun. All right, let me rotate it. Let me try to do this and move this around. It's actually very fun. It's it's super heavy in the RNG though. Like because when you're opening these crates, I've had runs where I'm like, okay, I'm getting some pretty decent guns, but it just I don't know. I didn't have good enough wheels or my health with whatever reason was kind of low. So I think it's a little bit heavy in the RNG. The driving in the game is a bit rough too, but it makes sense because you need to get better wheels to have better acceleration and stuff.
That was the part I was curious about because there was so like I said, I think I've only maybe gone through about 4 or 5 runs that didn't even last probably 10 minutes. So I truthfully haven't played a ton of it, but I I at least got enough to get the initial idea of it. But and I only had one run where I got like some sort of upgraded wheels, and it did definitely seem to make a difference.
Yeah,
I was curious if like as you progress it really starts to make a noticeable difference, and so it like at the beginning it's like an intentional bad
yeah,
type
no,
of
it definitely
control.
does. It also depends on the hero. So the first girl you get, she literally just has like a crappy minigun in the front of her vehicle, and then the second guy you get doesn't have a gun. He literally has a drill. So he's all about ramming enemies, and then every character has a skill tree. So as you keep playing as these people, you can literally allocate points and kind of buff like some of their perks. Actually, it's actually pretty fun. Like it's not the best roguelike, but I like the twist of it of like, oh, I'm actually slightly designing my character. Because when you play something like Vampire Survivors or Deep Rock Galactic, it is just like, oh, this gun will shoot in a circle around you. Like the gun has like its actual own personality of what it's doing. But no, not in Terror Tech. Terror Tech, it's depending where you're placing the gun. Like, yeah, it's a machine gun. It only shoots forward, but if you put it aiming backwards, it'll shoot all the enemies that are behind you. So it's like, okay, so you have a little thought in this. Yeah, it's actually pretty fun.
That was definitely something I appreciated about it. And it's one of those things that I can appreciate honestly that they put some effort to give it something creative because this is a genre that has become a little bit flooded in the last couple of years and people will just throw anything and
That's an
it's like,
understatement.
yeah, I mean especially in the mobile era like there's just a million of them but like coming up with an actual original concept is great
Yeah,
and I can really appreciate that what they did with it. And you mentioned Vampire Survivors. I think we're gonna do an episode when Aaron gets back on
I'm sure we'll
Vampire
probably cover
Crawlers.
Vampire Crawlers.
I absolutely love it, and you are correct. It is fairly easy. Vampire Survivors was too. There is like
That's
a
true.
both of these games now that I've played them, it's a very small and short gap where you're like, man, this game's kind of tough. It's kind of slow. It's not very fun. And then all of a sudden there's like a breakthrough at one point. You get one or two certain cards that start to just make things work and the games break. And
Yeah.
it gets a little boring. I will give it to you. But it's a ton of fun because there's a lot of card games out there like Slay the Spire where you can have these like infinite card builds and all these things, but they're so hard to do. And I think this is what I appreciate about Vampire Crawlers is they don't make it that difficult. It's pretty much like, hey, the game is just intended to always be this broken. So it takes a little bit of the joy out of it, but it brings an accessibility to it because I don't have the time or like the strategizing to go through and do some of these like ridiculous Slay the Spire things. So I've really appreciated it, and I mean it was why I didn't play as much of Hades as I should have last week because let me tell you I've been on that for this week as well, and
You know that game that we covered and reviewed already?
yeah,
Well, that's what I'm finally playing. Not
two
for when we
things,
covered it.
two things. I played uh, easily 10 hours of that game at that point. I still had put in a chunk of time. So it's not like I didn't play it. And two, I already knew I was going to give it like an easy game. I just didn't actually know I would love it as much as I did. And I just more thought you were wrong. Like, I will give it to you that Hades 1 is the better of the two, but Hades 2 is like it's a real close second. I
Yeah,
think
you
the
make it seem
story
like I
is
hated the game. I didn't hate the game.
no more than
That's
anything.
that
I
was
think it
my
was just
take
this
too. Is it's a good game, but I think one was slightly better on some
it,
parts.
really slightly, but I
Well,
think they're just
actually
more.
I see the
I think
story.
it's more just that they're different in some ways because
Yeah,
where they're different and better on each other don't take away from the game not having them, I guess.
yeah.
It's more just like the same basic idea that works really, really well. And I thought the story was really fun. I guess I do understand the concept of the first one being more interesting that it is like a self-driven motivation. But like I don't know. I totally missed, and you probably said it, and I missed it there, which is not a surprise. Is that like Kronos is your grandfather? I don't know. Am I spoiling something by saying that?
No, no.
Okay.
They
Like
literally
I
say at the
didn't.
beginning of the game.
Okay, I was gonna say like I didn't realize that it's like your grandfather. So it's this whole family thing to begin with, which
Well,
I
that's
mean,
all the Greek gods. They're all
true.
related in some
That
way.
is true too, and I get that, but I just think it's more interesting as I'm starting to like uncover and realize like how they're all related and who these characters are. I'm also just a big fan of like Roman and Greek mythology in general, like not in deep dive level, but I've just always been fascinated, and I just think that it's like just really interesting the way they have these wild and wacky stories of the gods and everything. So I like
You
games
love
like
the
this.
idea of the whole interfamily minglings, don't you?
I did. That
Yeah,
was really it. I mean,
that's what you
I,
pine for.
I mean, really, I can't believe we got past the fact of talking about the hot springs and how basically you're just trying to get it on with everybody in the village. I think every
I
single
actually never
conversation.
unlocked the hot springs. I never saved up for it.
Oh, it is every interaction is just super suggestive, and I think she just, yeah, I think she just goes to town with everybody in that village. But I think that also fits with Greek mythology. So
It does.
but yeah, it's the hot springs are good, and that's all part of building the relationship. So you have to do that.
Yeah, no, I'm still plugging away Hades too as well. But I keep picking up and like trying these simple little games. So it just came out on Game Pass yesterday. I never heard of it, and then all of a sudden I kept seeing like different posts on like Twitter, and I saw one on like Facebook. But Motor Slice, have you seen this game?
I was just literally like an hour ago looking at it on there. I didn't play it or anything.
It's interesting. It's very indie. There's things about it that are weird. It's rated teen, but like it's kind of goony. Like you control there's a little orb that follows her, so you are the camera following the orb, but you also control the character. But like your character kind of interacts with the orb, and like every once in a while, there's moments where your character can rest and she talks to the orb, but I guess the orb doesn't. I guess the orb talks. It doesn't really have a voice, but like you could say things that are like hold me and cuddle me, and I'm like, what is this? Like there's these weird moments, and also too when you do the dialogue, you actually have like a cursor to select the dialogue. I missed the dialogue and ended up clicking her, and she moves and moans, and I'm like, why did they add this? Like, why am I clicking the girl
Well,
and
that's
she's
why it's
moaning?
teen.
It's just like what is the point of this? But gameplay wise, it's actually pretty fun. It has pretty solid parkour in it, and it's weird. You're fighting construction vehicles, and the bosses in it. I've only fought one major boss, which is a giant dump truck. It's very reminiscent of Shadow of the Colossus, where it's just this massive vehicle, and you're trying to basically do a puzzle of climbing up the boss in order to kind of fight it. So it's actually pretty cool, and it's also funny too. Of another weird design choice of theirs, it's a very flat, not a lot of colors, very basic palette, of like what's going on. But whatever reason, your character is a giant blood bag. If you fall and hit the ground, you just explode and blood everywhere.
Perfect. That's
It's
what
just like
I mean.
it's out
It's
of
gonna
nowhere.
texture that nice plain atmosphere. So I was looking at it, the thing that struck me was the fact that in the same sentence they use parkour and cozy slice of life. Maybe the cozy part wasn't in there, but they call it a slice of life game, and usually slice of life go pretty hand in hand with cozy because there's
Well, that's the
another.
moments I think of you resting and talking and kind of
And
interacting
it
a little
and I
bit.
guess that must be it, like as you're explaining it. But I was just looking, I'm like, what game is a parkour cozy? Like, there's nothing cozy about
Yeah,
parkour game.
like I said, it's moments of that where I'm just like, this is a weird design choice. But overall, it's a solid game. I do like the parkour in it. It's actually a lot of fun with the parkour.
Okay.
Little like there are random enemies you can fight, but they so far I've completed 2 chapters, and you see someone and one slices them, and then it's like it will be another 5 minutes till I see 1 or 2 more enemies. It's just a lot of mostly parkouring, uh, but yeah, it's overall not too bad. Uh, what else? There was another one I was playing a decent amount of. Oh well. Before I get off of Motor Slice, another quick thing I want to complain about: the achievements in it already really suck. All of them are locked. Even when you reveal them, you don't really know what the achievement is asking you to do. So, and it's like, okay, like when you see the pictures, it kind of gives you an idea of what you got to do, but it's still very vague. A lot of them are kind of story
Is there
driven.
like a task list in the game that you just start to complete that'll be like kind of
Not
acts
really.
as more
There
of an
are random
achievements?
orbs that are kind of challenges to get. Do you remember Celeste? Remember when you collected the strawberries and you had to do a
Yes.
parkour thing to basically, and you had to land to collect that strawberry? This game kind of has it where you're collecting these dead orbs and you have to basically bring it to a drop off area. If you die, that orb gets returned. So it kind of has that same kind of like task. But I'm assuming there's some achievements to collect so many orbs, but I don't know. The achievements are locked. And not only that, some of the achievements are worth 16 gamer score. One achievement
Gosh.
is worth 89. And like, come on. That always irritates me. Like, why? It is a choice that they did that. 89 gamer score. It's like, it's so stupid.
And I guess maybe there's ways that they're I think they've even talked about changing the achievement system, at least in terms of like how you can display your achievements or whatever.
Yeah, you can
But
hide achievements.
outside of looking at your score, having that off score, nobody knows why I got that 89. The game developer knows why that
Yeah,
89 exists, and it tells some fun little niche story in there, and that's cool. I don't mean to put down the developers. You guys, you
I do.
girls, guys, people, all of you do wonderful work. For the most part, I like the things that you do, but truthfully, can we just stop that? It's just annoying, and I'm not even all that big of a concern of my gamer score, but I will say it is annoying.
Yeah,
Especially when it pops up and it says like 8 gamer score. 5 is annoying. 8 is even more.
yeah,
8 annoys me so much more.
yeah. I agree. But other Game Pass news though for things that are happening. 33 Immortals, we covered it in preview.
Oh yeah.
They officially came out with their Paradiso update. So the game is still in preview. If you listen to our episode and don't know what I'm talking about, 33 Immortals is a top-down action hack and slash roguelike where you are, fighting through first hell, then purgatory, then eventually heaven. And you are basically your dead spirit trying to basically get back to life by basically fighting the gods. But you are playing with 33 other people and whenever you enter a room. But going from hell to purgatory to now heaven, they finally came out the update, so now all the areas are available, but there's still no achievements. Me and Keith really loved 33 Mortals. They've been updating that game very slowly, but this last update was very big. So you might want to check out 33 Mortals if you haven't yet.
I am curious. I mean, I would imagine that would hopefully mean at least within the next 6 months, which is crazy to say, like, oh, that's just right around the corner. That somewhere within the near future, they would be releasing 1.0, which would
They
come with
still
achievement.
there's still at least I think one more weapon they haven't released. So yeah,
Okay.
it
But
should be pretty
that could be a
close.
1.0 drop type of thing. Like a hey,
Yeah,
here's the final, here's the game, here's the last weapons, etc. But like thinking about that, like I'm actually genuinely surprised, and I think at the time I said like, no, there's no way that this will die off. Like it's so easy, but like I stopped playing it and I loved it, and I actually am interested to check it out again.
yeah.
The final one though, like if I remember, it was 33 was the first one, 22 was the purgatory. So is it
Like
11
11 people for
that
Paradise. Yeah,
enter? Okay, and that kind of helps because thinking about like how many people are gonna put in the time to get all the way to that place, that last location, and if you have to then hope to get 33 people, that could be tough.
yeah,
So narrowing it down to 11 who've reached that difficulty, it probably makes it easier to maintain.
yeah.
So good choice on the developer.
But if you and your friends don't want to play that, There's a lot of really good games, co-op games that are coming out. Nope, I lost Keith. There's a lot of really good games that have coming out on Game Pass. Specifically today, I really want to mention this game, Wildgate. If you have not checked out Wildgate, Wildgate is a ton of fun. It's essentially, best way to describe it is Sea of Thieves but in space. It's a battle royale where you are piloting a ship. You have usually 5 crews. You're stuck on a map. You're basically trying to get an artifact and get out. But your ship is only a one-time ship, so if it gets blown up, you're out of the match. So it's kind of a survival. Try to fight each other. You go to these different locations, fight some enemies, get better loot, upgrade your ship, and just try to get the artifact and get out of there. It's a super fun game. You need to check it out. If you have some friends, even if you play solo, it does pretty well with kind of matching people up. But yeah, check out Wildgate. Keith played it with me and Aaron. Me and Aaron played a good amount of it before. We were in the beta. But Keith, how much of Wildgate did you actually try?
Unfortunately, not nearly as much as I wanted to. I never got a chance to play with both of you. You and I tried probably a couple times over the course of a week and maybe got 3 matches. And I think they were honestly all the tutorial matches where you play PvE.
Yeah, you
So
may be right.
they were fun. Like I really enjoyed it, but every single time we tried to get into an actual PvP match, we could not do it. And I tried solo even, and then I just gave up. So hopefully they've either fixed whatever issue was causing that, and or the player counts have gone up because I would go back to it. It was fun
Well,
from
the
what I
player
remember.
counts were down. Like I was so disappointed. Like it's such a good game, but it should have been free to play. Like even like I will say it's a good enough game that it did justify its price tag, but there was no marketing behind it. Like anytime I told people about that game, nobody heard of it. And so it's just like, and I think it was a true $30 game.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
it,
you guys had told me about it. I don't buy a lot of $30 games, truthfully.
yeah, I
So
mean, it's kind of a steep price.
yeah, for even you guys talking, I was like, I don't know. I had I not gotten a code for it, I would not have had that game. And now that it's on Game Pass, I would have obviously. But I think that's the right idea for it because even if it's not free to play, just put it more easily accessible in players' hands because that's the only way you're gonna get the player counts up on a game like that.
Yeah, highly recommend Wildgate. So check that out. But some other games that are coming out this month. Only want to go over a couple of them. So I don't know if you saw it. There's another roguelike coming out, and I think in 4 days from today, from when we're recording this. Did you see Black Jacket, Keith?
I did. I did. And
As soon as I saw it,
I'm
I'm like,
like
oh my god, Keith's
I'm
got this.
like mad about it as much as I'm excited about it, if that makes sense.
If you don't know what Black Jacket is, it is once again another card roguelike game. But if you can't tell by the title, it is essentially blackjack roguelike, where you are playing a character who has died, and you are essentially trying to con your way out of the afterlife and try to get back to reality. So you are essentially trying to cheat the game and try to find cards that kind of help build your hand up. But yeah, you're playing against a computer trying to play blackjack. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, oh, he's going to be playing a lot of this.
I am curious though how much I will play of it because I really did like um Let's Go Gambling. I'm trying to remember the name of it.
um, Clover Pit.
Clover Pit. I really genuinely did, and it's a game I would pick up and play more of easily. It got replayability all over the place, but it didn't hook me that much, and that's kind of at least what I'm seeing out of Blackjack and Jacket. And I think more what's annoying me about it is I'm like, I think as much as I know I'll play it, I think there's an overplayedness to this genre of like, hey, let's just find the one that people haven't covered and throw in, okay, we'll grab some Inscription, we'll grab a little bit of Clover Pit, and then we'll just call it a new idea. And it probably is fun. And it kind of just feels uninspired, I guess is what I'm getting at.
I don't know. We'll see. Because it looks like it has more of a story to it too.
I'll tell you in 30 hours.
I know. Yeah. Another one I did not know about this game, but this comes out I think in 5 days as well. But Call of the Elder Gods. Did you see this?
I did. My first thought was, what was the roguelike we played? It was the one
roguelike.
Dave did the episode with us. Curse of the Elder Gods, right?
Oh yeah, Curse the Elder Gods. Yep.
So at my first, I was like, "Oh, is this another roguelike?" It's not. It's like what's this, a story point? Is it a point and click
It's just
or
no. It's a story driven. It's a first person story driven puzzle game. But it's
okay?
from the people
Okay.
that did Call of the Sea. Do you remember Call of the Sea?
Call of the Sea was cool.
Yeah,
I did like that. And I don't think I mean, I couldn't tell you what I rated it. I don't remember thinking it was the greatest thing ever, but it was fun, and I did
we
like
did
it.
that with Liz.
Yeah, that was
And
good. That
yeah,
was good.
I liked it a lot. I really liked Call of the Sea.
I
And
remember the
honestly, this looks
pictures.
just like Call of the Sea, just now with ancient gods.
Okay, I could get behind that. Yeah.
Yeah. The other big thing too, a lot of people. This was I don't know if you heard. There's a lot of controversy with it, but Subnautica 2 is also coming out this month.
Game
Granted,
preview.
it's gonna be in preview, but it's impressive that it's even coming in preview. That's coming in 7 days. I cannot wait for Subnautica 2. I'm kind of sick and burnt out of preview games because I hate when I'm like, this is exciting, and then it's like, well, it's not completed content, and it's just like, now I gotta wait, and I don't like that. But yeah, Subnautica 2, there was a bit of controversy with it because the CEO originally got fired because they were doing well with the game, and a Chinese publisher, I don't think it was Tencent, but basically they had a stipulation of, oh, if you get your game in preview at a certain time, you get a bonus. And so they were going to hit that bonus, and so they fired him and basically said, no, don't put the game out in preview because they didn't want to pay out the bonus. But the courts basically overrode him, reinstated the CEO, and I think forced the company to kind of pay the bonus. So it's this whole kind of controversy that was going on. So,
You
but now it
gotta
looks like it's
quit
back on track.
immediately after that, right? Like, even if you win and you get your job back, like, how do you walk back into that office and be like,
Well, I mean, he
"Yeah,
had nothing
guys, you
against like his employees.
everybody
Like,
wants me here now."
no, it's just obviously the publisher, the higher ups, like the gross
No,
businessmen. But like all of his employees, like apparently like the culture in the studio is
no,
fine.
I mean that's fair.
It's just businessmen being gross.
but imagine that in your job, for example.
Yeah,
Like
that
you
you
have to
literally got
walk
fired.
like you got it back from a court case, even if it's completely justified that you shouldn't have
Yeah,
been fired, you get it back. You still have to walk back in there
it's
and be
kind of
like,
awkward. Yeah,
I'd be like, nah, I'm still good. I don't want to go back there. Just pay me.
I know because I feel like that's also going to put a bitter taste in your mouth too towards like the game of just like these people pissing
Like
me
I
off.
hate this stupid publisher.
And then of course the other big one coming out on in 12 days as well. Wait, what is? Oh man, but yeah, halfway through this month is Forza Horizon 6.
Oh, I'm so excited for that.
Me too. I mean, it's obviously it's. I'm excited, but I'm also not because it's
Forza
Forza
Horizon 6 is Hades 2, but at the sixth game. I could play 10 minutes of it and tell you I'm going to love it as much as I'm going to love it after 100 hours.
I know, like I know I'm gonna love it, but it is to me. I'm like I feel like there's not gonna be too much that's gonna be like this is a whole new game. But I'm very excited to explore Japan. Like Japan, that's a super cool locale. I'm very much looking forward to it.
Well, it's that, and it's, I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast or off the podcast at this point, but like it is some little things about the game that I am excited for. The actual progression system coming back is genuinely exciting because
Yes.
and the other thing I hope it kind of just gets fixed with that is one of the biggest gripes that you had mentioned, and I really genuinely don't like it about Forza Horizon 5 is the race system, is the ability to just be like, oh, I'm gonna go do this off-road track, but they're like, well, do you want to do the Lamborghini Gallardo you're in? I'm like, no, I don't. Like, force me to do a proper off-road vehicle in this
Yeah.
guy. I don't, and I like having some flexibility. Let me have some fun, I guess, but it just was too loose with it, and I didn't like that as much about it. But that said, I'm hoping that will change with Forza Horizon 6, and everything I've seen so far looks awesome. It's probably not big news. I'm sure people have heard it by now, but if you've played the old ones, you're gonna get the cover vehicle of the game that it corresponded with. So like that might kind of throw off the progression. I feel like I don't know how that'll work if you're getting like a S
And
tier Lamborghini day one that you can't drive it until you unlock it, I guess.
No, I mean you could probably just drive around the free run, but like
Oh yeah,
maybe not to
probably.
the scheduled races. One thing I'm curious though, my big thing is, do they fix the stupid tile menus? Like I
Oh
remember we complained about
gosh.
that. The navigation and the tiles in the online community of the game was always just so janky and annoying. Of just everything's just flashing and like so many things going around. I'm like, what? Like what should I be doing right now? Which I'm curious. Segue into kind of talking about the future of Xbox, because that was one of the things in Forza Horizon is that you could create clubs, which clubs were kind of also a thing you could just do not on the game, but you could also specifically create a club for Forza Horizon, which was just weird, and it was also very janky. But Asher Sharma being the new CEO, she's been shaking a lot of things up in the Xbox studios. Yeah, you can't call it Microsoft Gaming anymore because that was one of the things she did. She name changed it. No longer Microsoft Gaming. We are now Xbox. So it is back to Xbox Gaming, which is great. But that was one of the, she did put a memo of a bunch of things she wanted to say. I will say she's saying a whole lot of really good things. But so far, she's still fresh. And what she is doing so far, I am like when she's, actually doing. But yeah, that was one of the things she said was a lot of our systems that we have don't work well together. Like a lot of the community, social stuff. Because, yeah, remember Xbox used to have avatars? They
Yeah.
tried to update the avatars, but like there was no point to them. Like some of the achievements were kind of cool. You got achievements and you got a T-shirt for your avatar, and it was like, oh, this is kind of cool. But they just never did anything with it. And same with the clubs. Like the clubs was kind of a thing where I think they tried to make it like Discord, but they didn't do anything with it, and like it never branched into anything.
We have one to this day. It still exists. It was
No, it's
one of
gone
those.
now. All clubs are gone.
Oh, did they get rid of them? So I
Yeah,
take that
that's
back.
literally what I just said, Keith.
Oh, well, I take that back. They don't exist anymore. But we did have one, and it was useless. It was pointless because you couldn't make it like there was no making it a community. You
Yeah,
had the best you could do is like anyone can ask to join this club, and I was like, well, no, I want this to just be anyone. I was like, yeah, I will, but that was annoying, and so we never pushed it because it never had good use.
yeah. It was supposed to be like a friends list that wasn't your friends list. Like I don't know. It just made no sense.
Well, there was cool features to it because you could like pin certain games and achievements and like put notes and things. So there was functionality. I remember because I actually dug pretty far into it years ago, trying to make it useful. There was potential features for it that could have been really cool to build communities, but because of the fact that there was nothing around it in terms of like the at least the ability honestly to grow them for one, but really beyond that, just I don't know. It would have been cool, but it's probably better that they died. I
Yeah,
guess
but
we're getting.
one of the latest new things she did, Asher Sharma has done, not only like I said, change it back to Xbox gaming, but there's a new logo coming out, which is very reminiscent of old school OG Xbox, which I love. The green X, it's kind of it has like this nice kind of neon like holographic look to it. Love it, and also there's going to be a new boot up sound, which I think is actually coming out very soon.
It's next Wednesday, I think.
Yeah,
But
which it isn't, which is a weird thing to be talking about. Of like, did you hear this could be a new sound when you turn your Xbox on? But like as stupid as it is, it's iconic. Like people love a boot up sound. Like everyone can think about like for me, I love the Dreamcast boot up sound, the GameCube boot up sound, the Sega Genesis boot up sound. Like a boot up sound actually, as stupid as it is, kind of talking about this, it's very important.
I mean, it's that. I mean, the same applies to movies. If we had Aaron here, he could drill into that. But like all of the old ones, heck, I scrolled across like it was random Nickelodeon like closing credits for things. I was like, I haven't heard that in probably 30
Yeah.
years, and I was like, that just tickled parts of my brain. I was like, I remembered all of these things. That was cool, and so I like it. And it like even the black and the green is like it feels very reminiscent of like original Xbox, like that was the black and green. So I'm here for it. I like it.
Which, yeah, she's talking about going back to their roots. And I'm really curious. So, like, there's a lot of, obviously, still nothing's been set in stone of exclusivities. Are exclusivities coming back? Are they going to actually reevaluate exclusivities? Which I think is hard because it's been shown them putting games on PlayStation has been making them a ton of money. So it's like I don't fully blame them if they're like, well, we can't really do like go back to exclusivities, but they still don't really have much of a reason as to why people need to buy an Xbox. I think for me, they will keep some of their major franchises because to me it makes sense to show like to let people have some of these other exclusives that aren't as popular. You know, like when they did, um, almost not High on Life, the music beat 'em up game. Gosh, why am I trying to blank on that stinking name?
Oh, I didn't like that one.
Oh, I didn't.
The one that
But anyway,
everyone loved because they shadow dropped it, so it was cool.
yes. And thanks for remembering the name, Keith.
Still don't
But anyway,
remember because I didn't care.
I feel like when you kind of put these games out where you're like, hey, these are the types of games that are on Xbox, I feel like that can start to entice people over and maybe put some of the older franchises on there. Because that's the thing, too. She did talk about that we need to revisit our older franchises and kind of revitalize them.
So we're getting a new Perfect Dark. Like they're gonna reboot it again. Again?
Well, remember, it already got canceled. Oh, that's a good
That, well,
question.
that's
Do you
what,
think, I'm curious if she'll reboot, though? Because obviously they
that's
still
why I said
have,
again, or has it been 3 times?
yeah, they obviously still have the assets. Like, I have a feeling that game was probably in a way worse shape than like what was shown.
I mean, it is, but I think what it shows is at the very least what they brought her in to do. I think she's doing well, and trying to bring Aaron into this episode. I think this is what he's said about it in the past is that, you know, her track record in theory is that she's kind of revitalized these apps where it's all about the consumer actually using the application and using the product. So if you're saying, hey, you don't need an Xbox to do this because you can do it on your Android phone, on your Amazon Alexa, Fire Stick, like whatever the case may be, you're diminishing the use of your app. And so she's getting rid of that. She's bringing you back to Xbox. And she's doing it with the name, she's doing it with the image. And I'm
Yeah.
with you on that. I'm all about, I couldn't care less what it's on. So if they don't keep things exclusive, it does not bother me in the least. But I do get the weird business reason to keep them exclusive, but also the business reason to not keep them exclusive. So I'm with you on that. It's tough, but I personally, I think just, yeah, let's let the PlayStation people supplement us for it. No offense to them. I mean, it's all good for them because if anything, too, the Gran Turismo game died. Like, that was a fantastic franchise. At
Yeah.
least I played it through, I think, Gran Turismo 3, and I know there's a bunch after, but, like, what a good racing simulator
It was
franchise that
the
just...
OG simulator.
Yeah, and honestly, even when, like, that was one of the only PlayStation games that I was ever, like, man, I would consider getting a actual PlayStation on the side for that game. Spider-Man looked fun, but that was always just a background game. Gran Turismo was the one, and then really Horizon was what changed it for me. It's like, well, I have even though it was more arcade, I felt like I had a racing game I could appreciate and I wanted to play. So I
Yeah.
think bringing that to the PlayStation community is huge because didn't they get Motorsport 2 or no? Or Motorsport 6 technically, but
Six was the
2
last one.
isn't
Yeah, they got it.
also is what I meant.
Yeah. Yeah, they did get Motorsport, yeah. But yeah, like that's one thing I'm really liking about Ashley Sharma so far is I feel like she's actually listening because one of the big things that everyone kept getting mad about, this is general Microsoft is they keep trying to force and push things on us. Like they're like, hey, we came up with this thing, now everyone's going to use it. And the newest thing, of course, is Copilot. Like even at work, anytime I boot up my email, it's like, yeah, it's Copilot. Do you need help? I'm like, no, I just want to get my email. Like, get away from me. But everyone, they originally were talking about that. Oh, the new Xbox is going to have Copilot on it. Oh, Copilot. And sure enough, this lady, she used to be all about AI and help Meta with AI. So people are like, oh, great, here we go. But she already announced Copilot is being killed on the Xbox. We are not putting Copilot on the Xbox, which is great. Thank you. Like, I will say this. There's a little bit of it where I'm like, I wouldn't mind having some sort of AI assistant. But I don't think Microsoft knows how to be subtle. Like I said, they always keep shoving things at me, and I'm like, no, I don't want this. But like the thing I always think about with like AI, because I remember someone's like mentioning this of like kind of the use of it is if you're playing a game and you're kind of lost or confused what to do, you could ask an AI, hey, what do I do here? And to me, I think that'd be a great bridge. So I kind of wish Aaron was here. Aaron is a big connoisseur of the yellow paint. He doesn't know where to go in a game. He gets very confused easily. And I feel like having an AI system would be kind of helpful where like a developer doesn't feel like they need to splash yellow paint everywhere. But if you had an AI system to be like, "Hey, I don't know what to do right now or where to go." It could be like, "Oh, maybe you want to check this door. Maybe you can climb this cliff here." I feel like a simple integration like that would be kind of helpful. But yeah,
I think
I'm
that
so glad they're not shoving it in our face.
I think that gets real difficult because for one, I mean, at this point, if you don't know how to use Google, like I don't know what to tell you because it's the answers are. I don't want to say 90% of the time because man, the indie community is so big and there's plenty of games we've played that I have not been able to find good content on to like help me through some things. Actually, Mini Shoot Adventures was one of them. I kind of struggled to find like good answers for some of the things I was looking at. Um, but that said, it's like I understand that in theory the AI assistant could pull from not Google data, but how would it know the game? I guess it would have to basically be able to look into the game code to interpret like
Which
where
that's what
you.
AI does when you
I
generally kind
mean,
of ask it
and I
questions.
guess, and I don't even see that as a problem. I just more of a like how would they do it is more my thought process. I personally, I think because of the fact I'm like, you can almost always just go Google your answers. I don't know. I don't need it in my face. I guess I could probably turn it off. But I do agree that removing Copilot from there, like I not to turn this into a big weird AI conversation. I'm kind of in a weird spot about like my personal thoughts on it because like you kind of fall on two sides of the category mostly, and this is most things. Like there are some people like AI is the death of everything, and then there's like it's the greatest thing ever, and I think it's more just about how you use it. And I don't think there's a good application for it in the gaming community. I get your point with the gaming assistant, but outside of that, like I tried to fiddle with it on the Xbox app, like trying to just think like kind of like okay, within the confines of what you should know. It's like look at the Game Pass catalog. What's a game I could easily get 500 gamer score in under 2 hours? Like just trying to see like it could not spit anything. It was spitting out games that weren't on Game Pass. It was spitting out games that weren't even on Xbox. Like I was like, what is this?
It's like
And
play
I would
Spider Man.
yeah, and I was legitimately like, no, that's wrong. Try again, and it would come back and just give me the same answer. I was like, this is the worst AI I've ever used. So like, I am all for killing it in Xbox because I don't think it makes sense. I just yeah, I think it needs to be used in the right applications, and this just isn't the place for it.
Yeah.
So I think to that point, her being in I think maybe she understands that concept a little bit. And I think that's where maybe her head is at. Not to speak for her because she's probably way smarter than I am.
But yeah, well, I mean, the community was very vocal about how stupid they think it is. So to me, I feel like this isn't a sign that she's actually listening to people. But the other thing that she's, I think, clearly listening to people, she even's been stating gaming is getting way too expensive. So as you've probably already seen, Game Pass has dropped significantly in price. Well, I guess it's significantly, but a good chunk. I mean, $7 a month is pretty significant. Um, and in her memo that she recently said, she's even stated that just gaming in general has got more expensive. So I'm really curious too. Does this finally mean hardware is going to get cheaper? Because hardware has only gotten more expensive. I know, obviously, with the whole economy going on right now, and the tariffs, RAM being incredibly hard to get because of obviously AI and data centers going up everywhere. I know there's some limitations as to what they can do, but it makes me curious about the next console because already before Phil Spencer and Sarah Bond kept saying, "Oh, the next console is going to be a premium experience. It's going to be meant for those really rich kind of people." Does this mean that it's still going to be that? Like, is she talking about software getting cheaper? I don't. I. What do you hope for, Keith?
I mean, I would love to, but I don't see it happening.
For what?
The hardware coming down. And I genuinely have liked a lot of the things that she's had to say. So I don't want to, just sit here and be like, oh, it's all fake and everything. But there's two things about it is, and this is outside of even her, it's a pretty easy tactic to fool people to be like, hey, we're going to jack the price of this thing way, way up, drop it down to a much more reasonable. And I don't think businesses do this all the time. I don't think it's a huge commonplace thing. but I don't, it's not some mystery practice to like overprice something and then drop it down to a more reasonable price that's still higher than what everyone was paying. And everyone goes, wow, what a deal. It's not a deal. We're still paying $6 more a month than we were 6 months ago. It just feels good because for 3 months they charged us $30 a month. And so we're going, man, thanks Microsoft, thanks Xbox. I'm glad that she's done it, and I will not stop that. But I also think it's just a little bit of a dumb business play. I go back to my McDonald's theory. It is, and I
Or original
don't.
Coke.
No, McDonald's is they are, I think, the pioneer of this game. They've been doing it for years. I I don't know if I've said it on this podcast. I won't get on my full soapbox about it, but I will tell you a quick story and a nugget about the chicken nuggets. Because for years they had the dollar menu and you could buy a 4-piece chicken nugget for $1. So if I wanted 20 chicken nuggets, I could buy 20 chicken nuggets for $5. That's how that math works. And
Oh,
then one day they said, "Hey, what a deal, everybody. We're offering the 20-piece chicken nugget for $5 now. You can get 20 nuggets for just $5." This was a huge advertisement push. What a deal they've done for us. But you know what they did? They got rid of the dollar menu then. They went with a 1, 2, 3 menu. And then they had a bunch of different items that weren't always $1. Some were $2, some were $3. Then it was $2 for a 4-piece chicken nugget. It has only gotten worse from there, but that was where they started it. They start with this game where they give you this, hey, here's a really great deal, but really they took away a better deal to give you that new great deal that you didn't know about before. And it's so it's my McDonald's theory is what I call it. And I think this is what it is a little bit with Xbox is where I'm going is they jacked the price up on us, dropped it down, and now it feels great. I'm still not happy about it. That
I
said, I think dropping the cost of things like this is also a soft launch to go, well, the hardware is still going to be really expensive, and there's nothing we can do about that legitimately because of the
yeah.
limitations we're up against. And I think that it's just to kind of soften people up for what that's going to be, and hopefully, this is where my silver lining hope is to finally get there is that maybe they will recognize and offset that with some of the lower costs, but the private equity and finance world will not allow for that. So
Yeah,
we'll just pay more for everything and always.
which speaking of them, yeah, because I mean, their case in point, there's been a lot of rumor going around that yeah, a lot of private equity, Wall Street people, specifically someone said I think like the CEO of Bank of America is kind of pressuring 2K and Rockstar to price Grand Theft Auto 6 at $80 to make it $80. So basically, that will be the new baseline for all video games. That video games going forward should be $80, which is insane. Already, there's clearly so much data showing people will not pay $80. They will for Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto is I think the one game that people will I think fully justify and be like, yeah, $80. This game's going to be worth that $80. But no, like this past year with all these games that have like won Game of the Years and all these awards were all games under $60. Like everyone was playing all these games that were usually around $50, $40, such as Expedition 33 and Oblivion. So it's like people are already speaking with their wallets that no, $80 is not going to be acceptable.
And to some extent, sure, Grand Theft Auto because the amount of hours people are going to get out of that game. So
Yeah.
there's that. Like we always talk about, what's my value on a game? We generally evaluate it. I think across the board, the three of us, we look at like the cost per hour, and I'm sure that Grand Theft Auto 6 will play out to that. And then there's also the development time, but that's not my fault. Why
Yeah.
why foot that bill onto me? And I get that's how business works across everything, but that's not how this industry works, I don't think. And it just goes back to I'm not going to try to get on some big thing, but it's just all about the ruining of private equity within good like I'm all about capitalism and corporate business. I think that it can work, but private equity isn't just the death of everything. And I think it's going to kill, I don't want to say kill video games, but it's going to price people out of it. It is
It
what it's.
already is. And that's why
Yeah, and
indies are doing so well right now.
it is, and I think that is really the thing that's saving the gaming industry is the fact that people are able to produce games, high quality games at that, at
Yeah.
a low cost, even low hours in the big picture. You know, it doesn't take me 10 years to develop this game. I don't think Balatro was developed over 10 years. I don't think that, you know, Expedition 33 took 10 years to make it. Like, these games can be done with the right people.
Yeah.
And so that's going to save the ability for ultimately, you know, the finance industry trying to push people to squeeze every penny out of the consumer. But man, it's frustrating because I truly think people will pay that $80 and it's going to set a real bad standard for games.
Well, like I said, well, I mean, if people want to be dumb, because I think Xbox already knows that it was a bad move because they backed it up originally with like Outer Worlds 2. Wait, Outer Worlds 2, did it go from 80 to 70 or 70 from 60? I don't know. Either way, it dropped price. It was Outer Worlds 2. They ended up dropping price in, and another one of their major games. I think it was like Avowed. But either way, Xbox already kind of saw it that no, people don't want to pay this higher price tag. We need to back it off a little bit. I mean, granted, still it didn't do super well. Oh, I think it was Indiana Jones was the other one, but it did well. The games did decent when they went over to PlayStation because, you know, obviously people on Xbox aren't going to be paying for it because they just pay for Game Pass. But yeah, when it went to PlayStation, they actually sold a good amount of copies. And it's like that's the thing. If you price the game at a reasonable price, you're going to get way more copies sold and make more money on it. And so I at least love that people are actually finally voting with their wallets.
Yeah, I don't see it happening enough that it's gonna make an impact. And I think again, I really think Grand Theft Auto is gonna set the precedent for them to go, no, this works. We can absolutely do this. Because again, it's a double-edged sword, and I don't want to sidetrack onto some personal tangent about it, but like I go back to kind of the private equity thing of what they look at generally is they're running a lot of algorithms, and they're just kind of looking at the best from like a scientific calculated aspect. They're not considering the actual human element of these games and what the industry really is.
Yeah.
So they're going to show that, hey, we had success with an $80 game. We have precedent to do it. So they're going to continue doing it until something proves them otherwise. And I just think it's going to take something like not even something major. Yeah, I think people just stop buying those games, but they're going to justify it, and it's where it's going to go. But the indie market's still out there, and I'm all about it. It's one of the biggest reasons I'm really truly excited about the Steam system coming to the Xbox, you know, ecosystem. If it does, in theory, I know they've already done it with a ROG, and in theory, it sounds like the new Xbox will do that because I just think there's such a trove of games that are available to play that you could put into people's hands. So
Yeah, I mean, before the show, I think you literally just read a statistic that like PC players, what they spend majority of the games, the money they spend on games is less than $30.
yeah, it was. Let me quickly find that
And I mean, it
headline.
makes sense.
I
That's
have
why
it up
Steam
here.
is so popular because there's usually discounts, and their discounts are usually very deep. So
Yeah,
it
it's
just
about
it
PC
makes sense.
gamers in general paying 30 will generally won't pay over $30 for a game. PC gamers buy way more games that cost less than $30 at launch, which I think is the key aspect of the sentence compared to PlayStation and Xbox players. And I think that it says a lot. Yeah, it's because of the type of games that are available on there and the prices you can pay for them. You can just get hours of entertainment on a $7 game, and if I can do that 10 times over the course of a year, I've gotten 10 games for that $70 than I did for one game that probably got me 150 hours, sure, but
Yeah.
it probably didn't fill up my whole year. So I don't know. I don't. I think they should get paid for what they do, but I also think that $80 is ridiculous when I I bet it was not fully on the development teams that took this
Yeah.
long. I bet it was the financing teams that said, "Well, no, we need to make more money out of it this way. Dude, build this system." Like, I actually like. Did you listen to the podcast interview with Lex Friedman and Jeff Kaplan?
No.
It's super long. It's like 4.5 hours. So
I got some bits of it, but I never
it
listened to the whole
was
thing.
it was definitely something I listened to. And it was pretty well talked about. So this isn't like big, a big snippet that I'm pulling out of. But listening to the way he talked about Overwatch before he finally left there, is that was his trigger point. Is the he didn't name names, but they marched into his office and they said that Overwatch is going to make this amount of money this year, and it's going to make 20% more than that next year. And if it doesn't do it, you're going to lay off 30% of your staff. And it's just like it's become this grimy money grabbing industry that it's not about making things that people enjoy or making things that they enjoy making either, for that matter. It's about what's gonna make the most money.
I mean, it's
So
like what we talked about Subnautica too, of like returning to your job. Like, can you imagine
right.
coming to your job of being like, you're gonna get fired if you can't magically make people spend money on your thing? Like, come on.
Yeah, so
It's just like,
I
how do you work that way?
so I just I don't like that idea of it, and I hope that I don't know that one CEO, even of one of the the big three gaming consoles, is gonna fully change that. I think ultimately the finances are gonna win, and I I don't know. We'll see.
All right, we didn't. Well, I'm gonna be opposite of you. I think people are gonna speak with their wallets, and I think it's actually. I think the industry is gonna start to heal itself because people, are finally speaking with their wallets, and I love that. But anyway, I think we will wrap it up here. There's definitely some more things we could talk about, but I feel like people have probably heard enough of our voices. But before we get out of here, make sure you follow us. Go to GamePassGrabBag.com. You'll find our website, all our past games we've talked about. On the top right corner, you'll find the links to all of our stuff. I actually want to hear from you people. I always actually say, give us a game recommendation. But I was kind of thinking, you know what? Keith, whatever reason, can always find some real turds on Game Pass. So I want to ask you people, what's the worst game you played on Game Pass? Recommend us one of the worst games you thought was on Game Pass. I'm sick of Keith finding these turds.
I do want to put that with a caveat, and it's like, don't give us like a Paw Patrol game, because
because some of them are pretty decent, but no, there's some I play where I'm like, oh my god, this sucks.
And that is a fair point, because some of them actually... Robocraft, that's the game that I've been trying to find it, and I finally just found the name of it.
Robocraft, oh man, yeah, that's not a man. I can't believe you were searching that all the time.
Google.
The game we were playing is Pokemon, yeah.
But that said, those are fine. They're just... Because one, they might actually not be that bad, but it can't just be bad because it's for kids. I need it to be a turd. Give me the worst of the worst, because we had to have missed something.
Maybe.
Because I don't know, even some of the worst ones we found, I think are...
Gosh, I think the worst one we ever played was... Gosh, I'm already drawing blank.
It's either the Big Con or Soccer Story.
Big Con, thank you, the Big Con. Soccer Story was rough, but the Soccer Story at least had gameplay. The Big Con had nothing. It had nothing. It had no story. It had no gameplay. Oh, I hated the Big Con. That was by far the worst game I think I've ever played on Game Pass.
Wasn't great.
But yeah. But anyway, I've been your hardcore gamer, Stanger. You can find me on Xbox Live at Firebird0952. Thank you all for joining us this week. If you love these news segments, please tell us. We'll try to cover some more. But like I said, we had a pretty rough week this week. We'll be back to our usual programming next week. Until then, love you all. We'll see you again next week.
Oh, and if you like them and you like the name Boy Talk, let us know, because it's really important and it's a great name.